the new Matt Clark. How are each and every one of you doing on this amazing Sunday? I'm doing great. My girl's doing great. My family's doing great. I hope each and every one of you are doing great. And I hope you're having a great weekend. This is on live. We talk about prison, addiction, uh, life, whatever you want to speak about. This is where we talk about it. If you could please hit that like button, subscribe button, and that bell notification button to get all my videos when they're new. Anyways, you know the routine. I'm slipping right now. You know the goddamn routine. What's up? Don't worry, 9 to 5. What's up, my brother? How you doing? I said I was gonna come back last night, but my night kind of got a little bit crazy, so here I am next morning or afternoon. But for those of you who don't know, and this is your first time, it doesn't matter. I try to answer every question that I can. Obviously, sometimes there's a lot of people in the lives, and it's not possible to answer every question. But I do my best, so don't hesitate to ask if you have a question. And, I give my opinion, and that's all I state that it is. Nice. It's always good when family comes over, you know what I mean? It's always a good thing. So I'm going to wait for some people to come and then we can get into some conversation. I'd like to do that today. Hello from Steel Town. Shout out to Hamilton, man. See, I have a side of my family I don't really see or care to see. So I feel that. I know that they're coming over, so you're closer, obviously, than I am. But sometimes you do have to see them, though, right? Terry, happy holidays. 94 TY, shout out to T-Bay, man. I was there last year. To be honest, I act like they're not my family. Yeah, I feel that. This is the thing. I don't hate that side of my family with like a deep hate, right? I just resent them a little bit for the way that they were with my dad and the fact that they kind of left him hanging and his family hanging. Just it irritates me. And to be honest, my dad's still close with all of them because they're his family. And but I guess it's harder for him to see the disrespect than for us because he's blinded by his love for his family. And I have a deep love for my family, so I don't hate them. It's just they don't really talk to us unless they want something. I feel that. Hey, been watching since my son has been in jail. What I was wondering was, have you been in jail in Spring Hill? So I've never personally been to Spring Hill. I know it's a medium security penitentiary. And I know that it's like a normal pen, it's an old school pen, so it's gonna look like a pen. But if you go and do your time, apparently it's a decent place to do time. Hi there, and Merry Christmas. I had a question for you. Any idea why someone would delay their full parole? I'm a victim of a crime and I get a notification about it. Maybe because they believe that they don't have any support and they're gonna try and work up for support. Maybe that's what I would expect, assume. So that's the only thing that would really, you got like for most violent crime, parole is not really likely. You have to like supersede their expectations to get out on an early parole. Oh, you mean full parole? Yeah, that's 1/3. So, no, he probably just doesn't have any support, is what I would assume, and he just doesn't want to go through the process to be shot down. He is in what they call a pod, 7 guys. That's not too bad. 7 guys? It's like when I was on range in the Ville, it was like 35 guys on a range, on my range anyways, because Joyceville had long ranges and Joyceville had short ranges. So Matt Wagwan, big up yourself. Enough respects. AJ Planet, shout out to you, man. I respect that. Thank you very much. You know, the goal is ultimately to keep people out of prison, you know, and I can't do that for anybody, right? Nothing I say is going to make somebody stay out of prison. That's a decision that they have to make. But hopefully my words will give them enough wisdom that they can say to themselves, this shit ain't worth it. You're going to lose, because when you win, that greedy mindset starts kicking in and you think, okay, I got away with it this time. I can get away with it again. I can get away with it again. I can get away with it again. But you're playing the odds, you know, even if you're perfect and you're not leaving any physical evidence, nothing like that. Circumstances happen, you know, people happen to be there, walk by, see, there's a camera across the street, you know, these kind of things happen, and you play the odds and you're going to lose. So that's the problem with criminal activity. Nobody hits a score and says, damn, I'm going to take this money and invest it into legitimate things and never break the law again. That's just not how it works, because your mind starts fiending for that free money. You know, he may listen to what I say, but he's got to be in a place where he wants to change. You know, he wants to not live that lifestyle. And there was an extended period of my life where I did want to live that lifestyle. I didn't want to have to follow rules. I didn't want to have to be on parole or probation or piss into a cup or do any of these things. And for an extended period of my life, I didn't. As soon as I touched down, no matter what, a halfway house or on probation or whatever I was, boom, I'd cut, you know. And all I did was stack up convictions, fuck my life over more and more, made it impossible for myself to go to camp when I was in federal because of all the escapes. You know, those things, they seem minor in the moment, but in the long run, they stack up. Now, the one good thing about the federal system, especially when you're on parole, is there's no charges for a breach. You know, you have to be breaking the law and getting convicted of a charge in order to get a charge while you're on parole. There is no criminal charge for a breach. Now, back in the day, you used to be able to go unlawfully at large. Like, say you were on parole or in a like a halfway house, and you cut and stop following your stipulations and just go on the lam, basically. That never used to be a charge, but now they'll charge you with unlawfully at large, and you're probably going to stack another 6 months onto your sentence. And you know what? Like, I know that I'm kind of veering because I'm thinking about things as I'm talking. But I knew a dude, okay? This dude planned on escaping, and he's a lifer guy, and he had done so much of his time. So in my mind, it never made any sense. Like, where are you going, bud? Where the fuck are you going? You take off from a camp, right? Which is a prison. As soon as you take off from that, your picture is everywhere. As soon as they notice you're gone, your picture is everywhere. So where are you going? You're going to just run for the rest of your life? I know that life and being a lifer, or even 10 years, 15 years, like, look at Ty Khan. Like, why? Why? You know, you put yourself in there, do your time. We live in Canada. We don't have life without parole. We don't have that unless you get dangerous offender. And in order to be a dangerous offender, you have to commit multiple violent offenses. But if you just get your sentence and just finish it, eventually you're going to get out. But you go on the run. Now, when you're on the run, you are forced to break the law because you're not going to work, right? You're not going to get a job, and you're a grown adult, so nobody's going to take care of you, right? This forces you to break the law. This is the same as going on the run from parole and shit, right? It limits you so much, puts you up against the wall, and forces you to have to break the law more and more and more. And every conviction you get while on parole is consecutive time. It's consecutive time. So you're going to get smoked. Like I said, I turned a 2-year, 3-month sentence into a 5-year, 9 months and 1 day sentence, my first bit federally. And it was just stupid, right? Going on the run from the halfway house, getting charged again, and then going back in and getting a breach for like smoking a spliff. There was one time where I went back for 7 months for smoking a spliff. Just think about that. And now, the last time I was on parole, right, it was completely different. You know, I never felt the need to go on the run. I told you there was the one time that I almost did, but that was for drugs, right? Not because parole was so difficult. That was just because my mind was tricking me because I was putting myself in a circumstance where I was around drugs. So, man, I can't believe I lived the way I did. You know, it's crazy. The amount of time that I did for the petty crimes, you know, breaking, like, I know it doesn't seem like petty crimes to people who it happens to, but like, it's drug addict crime, right? Like, that's all it is. You know, nobody's running around thinking about breaking into people's houses if they're not fucked up on drugs, right? That's just a reality. It's one of those kind of crimes, right? Unless you're like 15 or 16 or 17 years old, right? But the amount of time I started getting smoked with for what is considered petty crime, you know, a first offense for a break and enter, you know, you could get anywhere from 60 days to like a year in jail, depending on where you get charged, right? For me, it was getting to the point where I was starting to look at touchdown numbers for break and enters. And I did time with a guy in the Ville who got 16 years, one sentence for break and enters. So it started making me think like, man, I gotta turn my life around. All of it is related to addiction. All of it, right? Running away from the halfway house, going on the run, all because of addiction, wanting to get fucked up and not having to worry about the stipulations. Man, I would literally get out of the pen, go to my PO, and go right to the trap and get some heroin. That's what I would do. That was my routine. And I would hide it and be good at hiding it for a while because I didn't have that physical addiction. So I'd be able to skate the rules for a little bit. But then your behavior starts changing. And everybody around you starts noticing that. You start getting thinner. You get more withdrawn, right? These like parole officers and stuff are behavior specialists. That's what they study, right? So they can see those differences in your behavior. And these are the things that a lot of people don't realize. You know, the first time you walk in your parole office, you're all gung-ho. Yeah, I'm going to do what I got to do, blah, blah, blah. You're probably looking at them right in the eyes, right? And then later on, you're coming in, you're all flashy, J's on, whatever you're doing, and you're looking away. They can sense that. That's when they send people back for things like suspicion of being suspicious or deteriorating attitude, where they literally send you back to prison for nothing. There is no charge. You know? So the good thing, Debbie, is if your son's doing time for dealing, he's probably not doing a crazy amount of time, and he will have a shot at parole for sure, as long as his behavior on the inside is good, you know? And you don't have to be perfect. If you're somebody who thinks that you're going to run in there and skate the system and just pretend to be perfect, it doesn't work, man. I had a homeboy that is a well-known guy in the city, trafficking guns, running with a gang, right? He thought, okay, I'm going to get inside. I'm going to have the perfect behavior, and I'm going to just do everything. I'm going to get out on parole, and that's a wrap. I'm going to continue with my life. Man did everything, you know, got his high school, did all the programs, did extra programs, did a bunch of schooling, did all kinds of extra stuff, no misconducts, no nothing, went up in front of the parole board and they told him he was playing the system. How can you go from being this to this like that? You're playing the system. We expect to see one or two mistakes along the way. And that's what I say to people, there's no perfection in this. Who cares? Live your life, but avoid the subculture. The subculture is what leads to fights. The subculture is in the federal system. I mean, like in the provincial system, you can get in a fight over anything. But in the federal system, most violence is from the subculture or street beef subculture, right? So just stay out of it. Stay out of it. And a dirty urinalysis, right? If you get a dirty urinalysis these days in the system, you're going to lose your job, right? You're going to get kicked out of your program. Whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to lose that. And that is going to hurt your chances at parole. So if you're going to smoke at your own risk. A lot of guys, what they do is they'll smoke like one pinner spliff every weekend, just enough that they get bozzled, but they don't have enough in their system. It's not accumulating and not going dirty. So these are just, this is just suggestions for people when it comes to parole. It's important, man. And I thought it was crazy hard. I honestly, I'm telling you, thought they put all these halfway houses in projects and they put you in a circumstance where you can't win. But it's not true. They do put you in a circumstance that if you're not ready to change, you're fucked. Right? Because you're going to get... The reality is most neighborhoods that you would, want to avoid as an addict, those are the only neighborhoods that are accepting of things like halfway houses. A lot of other neighborhoods will petition and get their counselor or whatever to scratch that because it puts the kids at a risk if there's a school in the neighborhood or anything like that. Man, just when you go on parole, just focus on what you need to. Get a job. That's the most important thing. Get a job, because not only does it give you money, legitimate money in your pocket, but it also takes time and makes you focus on something that's positive. You're probably going to meet a friend at your job that's more positive than what you're used to hanging around with. And it'll give you an opportunity, at least an avenue to see that change is possible and worth it. The reality is, at first it's hard. You're not going to have many friends because all the people that you associated with, you're going to have to disconnect from. This is a fact. This is one of the most important things if you want to change your life, if you want to beat parole, anything like that. Disconnect from the old negative people in your life, especially if you're an addict and the people around you are addicts, because they can tell you that they love you and they care about you, but the reality is their number one priority is the drugs. What's the difference between detention side and sentence side in jails? In a provincial jail, I would say there's not much of a difference. I'd say the only difference is it's stagnant, So you're going to have the same people. You're going to have less opportunity for things like weed and tobacco to come in. You might have the ability to get a job if you have like minor charges. They might have like a little stupid gym that you can go and do some workouts. But most guys, honestly, when they get sentenced in provincial, they don't want to go to the sentence side. They want to stay on the detention side where all the action is. The thing is, your friends, what will happen fishing up a storm is all of the friends of yours that were your positive friends growing up that separated from you because they couldn't afford the liability that you are, because that's a reality. If somebody has kids and they've turned their lives around and they're not on drugs and all this stuff, somebody coming around who's on drugs, who breaks the law, you're a liability to their household, to their family. So a lot of those friends that had to separate from you, will reach out, man. I've reconnected with people from public school even, and had conversations with them. Uh, and that's because I separated myself from the negativity and the negative influences. I can't tell you, I can't stress it enough how, like, 100% necessary that is. I know you feel like there's loyalty to the people from your past and your friends and the people that you hung around with, but a real friend is going to understand that you need this time to separate and to get your shit together, and only somebody who doesn't care about you is going to offer you drugs, try and take you out on a move or whatever, when you've told them that you're trying to change your life. That is not a friend. I have friends of mine that are in active use that stay away from me, not because they don't want to talk to me, but because they know I'm changing my life. So they don't want to influence me negatively, right? That is a real friend. Most people will be in front of you trying to push it on you because evil loves company. Misery loves company, I don't know. There's something about being around more negative and just sad and depressed people when you're that way. And it makes it almost impossible to get out of the cycle because you just become content. You become content. My boy got charged with uttering death threats to a 911 operator. He was drunk out of his mind, and that is his first ever police encounter charge. He has court soon. Will he get jail time? Maybe not. If he has legitimately never ever done anything bad in his life, he's got family support, work letters, all of this stuff, maybe not. There's a chance he could get probation or like a suspended sentence. And even if he were to get time, there's a real good chance he could get something like weekends, where he literally goes to jail from Friday to Monday morning. And nowadays, they're not even doing that because of COVID and bed space. A lot of people are just getting ankle monitors. And you just can't leave your house from Friday to Monday. I don't like the ankle monitor, man. I hated it. I had an ankle monitor for the first 90 days when I touched. Uncomfortable. You got to charge it all the time. It's just a pain in the ass. Pain in the ass. I remember I started my job, and the good thing was that the people that I was working for had an idea of my past, somewhat. So they understood, and they knew about the ankle monitor. But when I went and had to get my boots, I had to get like 6-inch ankle boots rather than the high ones because of that damn ankle monitor. It just impacted my life a lot. Now, the good thing was it did keep me on the straight and narrow, right? Because you literally like have a GPS attached to you. Even if you disconnect from that and cut it off, that's automatically a charge, right? You're going to have some kind of destruction to charge or whatever for cutting it off and unlawfully at large or whatever. I did 3 big months in the Hearst Gladiator School. It is. Any of those Toronto detention centers are gladiator schools. Even like Hamilton or Ottawa, like any of the big cities. Remember, it's all the baddest dudes from the city. At least the baddest convict dudes from the city, right? So you're definitely going to have lots of fights. And in a place like the Hearst, you have a lot of different gangs and a lot of politics, right? Matt B, salute to Saskatchewan, brother. I did not much time in the Hearst, a few weeks there on a transfer over from the West. And man, I remember on the range, there's a sign and it'd say, like by the sink, Whoppers 2 for 1. If you leave soap suds in the sink, Whoppers are 2 for 1. And it was literally like a lineup of these white dudes just getting slapped up every day for like the dumbest violations and just terrified. If you don't mind me asking, when were you at Fembrook and what job did you do there? When you were at Fembrook? So the last time I was at Fembrook, I just cleaned. I think at Fembrook, the only thing I ever was a cleaner, except my first time there, I was a unit rep also. And you can't stand up for somebody who won't stand up for themselves. You know what I mean? So, yeah, in the hearse, that's what you see, man. You know, don't get me wrong. You see black dudes getting slapped too, but majority of the guys getting slapped are like regular white dudes that just happen to be in jail and have no idea what they're doing. You know, because at the end of the day, somebody slaps you in your face, you just bang on sight. Like don't even hesitate, you know? Just fuck that dude up. Almost not, I'd say 95% of the time, he ain't no big dog. He is a twerp that they have sent to violate you so they can sit, laugh, and chuckle. You know what I'm saying? So 90% of the time, you just smash that dude. I seen that shit happen so many times. I seen it happen in Lindsay. The last time I was in Lindsay, this guy came in that a lot of guys knew he had hound charges, SA charges. And guys wanted him off the range, right? So originally, they had sent this kid to go sucker punch him and smash him, which the kid did sucker punch him, except the guy stood up and literally just fucked the kid up. Like, he was sent in for the sacrifice, and man, he got smashed. But the dude was a hound, so we ran him off the block. I don't know if he ever got convicted of it, but what's goody, Matt? Whole ball as well. Just jumping on the live now while driving home. Missed yesterday's live because was busy working, man. I feel you, brother. So, but you see a lot of things. This is the thing, you know, a lot of dudes that go in prison or jail, they do their time, they're soft as hell, right? They wouldn't fight you if you punched them in the face, right? But they do their time because they know how to do time, right? They don't walk around with their chest pumped out acting like they're tough guys. You know, they're able to laugh and joke and take life a little less seriously, right? And this is the thing about provincial specifically. If you can make people laugh, if people find you funny, you're gonna be good, you know, because there's not a whole lot going on. So if you're somebody that can crack people up, chances are it will not take you long to fit in on a block. You just have to understand when to be funny, you know, and with who, because there are some people that funny isn't ever for them, you know. You'll come across quite a few dudes that want nothing to do with funny. You come joking with them, you could have a problem. But in most situations, if you just wait, you understand who's who. That is a big issue with guys when they come in. They feel like they have to fit in right away, right? So they're up, they're trying to press their way into spliffs, they're trying to press their way into bogeys, and it doesn't matter if you've done time before, you know, it doesn't matter. You haven't done time with these specific people. So you have to wait, be invited, you know, and, you know, I'm not saying I've never pressed in my life, but I also did a lot of time. And for me, I didn't care. I was ready for smoke if I was there long enough and I felt like I wasn't getting broken off of something. But that is a provincial state of mind. Everybody gets into that state of mind once you've been there for a while. Jonathan, hey, what's up, my brother? Shout out to you. Glad you made it. I'll tell you, man. I ate these shits yesterday. Woo! You want a munchie snack? Those are them. You know, I used to hate pretzels. Terry Young, I appreciate that. Listen to you every week, Matt. Jail, prison sounds like a waste of time and life. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I never had any fun times in prison and jail, because I did. Like, I had fun days, right? But it doesn't matter, because the shit that I should have been accomplishing wasn't even necessarily fun, but necessary to provide yourself with a stable future. It's not always about fun, right? And that's the thing about prison. The only thing that's ever going to make you smile is fun. But fun is a fucking waste of time a lot of the time. So, I don't know, you know. I also think that there's a bit of a sickness that comes when you start doing time, and like empathy and humility and a lot of those things kind of go out the window because it's dog eat dog. And then the things that start to amuse you kind of become kind of dark and kind of savage. You know what I mean? What's good, brother? Much love. Ain't caught you in a minute. Ruck, what's up, my bro? Fun definitely can turn evil, man. Like, I've seen jokes go from jokes to jumpins. You know, guys partying, having fun, drinking some shine, and all, like, an hour later, the whole range is scrapping. The next day, everybody's good again. Like, provincial's crazy, man. Eddie Spaghetti, what's up, my friend? Stealth Parrot, what's up? I enjoy the live on Sundays, man. Yeah, appreciate that. I enjoy the lives on Sundays too. Especially when I don't have to rush, you know? Just living, bro. Healing from a foot surgery and recording music again. Shout out. Shout out to that. Drunk never ends well. To me, there's two kinds of drunk, right? You can get like beer drunk, where you're like kind of drunk, you know, unless you're just a fucking animal who can just smash a beer every 20 seconds. For me, they can only get so drunk off beer. But the hard alcohol, straight hard alcohol kind of drunk, for me, never ends well, you know, never. It always ends up with me either fighting or having like a breakdown or some kind of like mental health episode. Hey, Matt, I just want to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And for a blessed year, bro, all the best. Shout out to you, my friend. Jerry Cullen. Shout out to you and your family, man. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas as well. Oh, snap. Finland, man. I'd like to go to Finland. I know it's cold and stuff, but I'm from Canada. Looks beautiful there. I always ended up in jail when I drink a lot. Not worth it for me. So I'm saying. Great day to kick back. BC is getting a bit of snow, lower mainland here. Ontario winters are what I like. Real winter with snow for a few months is beautiful. Vancouver, too much rain. Have a great Christmas. Yeah, we got a bit of snow on the ground right now. We got about, what, 12 or 14 centimeters the other day. You ever thought about hollering at We Love Hip Hop? They probably interview it about your story. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, my brother. The thing is, I ain't a rapper. I'd rather host with older cats, the young ones wildin'. That's a fact. If you can get on a range like a pen timer block, you know, if you can get with a bunch of dudes that have done federal time, you're gonna do the best time anywhere, really, because even if they're gooned out, they're gonna have a level of respect. You know, that bully shit that happens in provincial, 98% of that is out the window the minute guys walk through the door of federal. The biggest bullies walk through federally, they're different. Hey man, good to see you. Any stories you know from BC? Not really, brother. To be honest. I could look stories up, but not really. Hey Matt, some people say that if you're on Suboxone and methadone you're still using. What's your thought on the government becoming a dealer? I agree. I don't believe you're sober. I believe that you're in recovery and harm reduction, which, hey, for me specifically, works. You know, total abstinence for me never worked. I have the mind of a junkie. It just is what it is, and I'm able to take 3 or 4 milligrams of Suboxone a day, nothing, and boom, I'm good. I don't even get the thoughts. For me, it's like a miracle. So I'm not gonna try and fix it if it ain't broke because somebody else thinks that I'm not sober. Oh well. What's the best way to check someone's criminal record? I have no idea, my bro. I've never ever checked for anybody's criminal record. Could have been a boxer type dude. Could have been a boxer. Put him up. Put him up. In one of your recent videos, you said whistling is a surefire way to get some whoppers. Why is that? So there's many different reasons. You know, the theory or what everybody thinks. I don't know for sure if this is 100% the reason why. But back in the day on death row, the guards, when they walked you to your death, would whistle up the hallway. Or when they come to pick you up to take you for your death, would whistle. So it's a sign of disrespect for that. And also, birds chirp and whistle. Birds are free. A bird is also a disrespect name if you're doing time. So, if that explains it for you. Is there a guy inside you seen that loved to scrap, rarely lost, and would always take the smoking? Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a bunch of those guys. Those guys don't typically fight a lot because most people don't want to fight them. But yes, you know, there's a lot of well-known guys too that are known for fighting, have reputations like that. Guards used to whistle as they killed the inmates' death row or hang area. I saw the gallows in Ocala, wicked place. That's a fact. So that's why you don't whistle. Plus, you know, you want to whistle to yourself in your shower or whatever at home. Hey, but what the fuck whistles anyways? It's not Mr. fucking Rogers. Yeah, reach over everyone's food. That's a great idea. I'm on here for like 2 more minutes, guys. Oh, hold on. This is important. The fuck? Wait a minute. No, that's a scam. Almost got me. Allows a hyper thug on the range who throws down at drop of a hat. Times have changed. It's not what it used to be. The thing is, if you have a hyper thug, like if you have a dude like that on the block who's just a total animal, guys are going to team up and run him off the range. Matt, how do inmates usually react to con that killed a family member? It's none of their fucking business, man. If you are not a hound, it's none of their business. You know? It's just the way it is. You know? Lloyd, work's going good, my brother. Yeah, exactly. Like, if a guy is a total animal, smacking people, this and that. They're gonna get run out of the jail eventually. Somebody's gonna run at them, shank them. You know, something's gonna happen because that bully shit don't go on in the pen here. Anyways, now it doesn't mean it doesn't happen quietly, because it does. It does. But there's always guys in the joint. Like there's one guy specifically when I was in the Ville. If you were on his range, you could not have a shank. And if he found out that you had one, it was smoke. And it didn't matter who was the person. Yeah, you know. So that just kind of is what it is. You know. And it's not because the whole range can't run that guy off the block, but he's not trying to be a bully. He's saying this range ain't going to be like that. You have an issue, go to the back, handle it like fucking men. If you guys want to handle it with blades, go to the back, handle it with blades. But nobody's going to be walking around this range strapped, intimidated, and everybody else. It's just how it was. And he could throw hands better than anybody in the joint. I can't imagine how rape is a regular thing in the USA. No rape in Canada pens. We have more morals in Canada. Rape and stealth thieves are a regular thing. Stealth thieves are becoming a regular thing in Canada as well. Box thieves. But I think that there's probably a small percentage of unspoken about rape. I'm sure there is. But if you are a man and you get caught raping a man in population, you're going to get killed. Even if they just think you did it, you're going to get killed. My dad did 12 years in... See, in a place like Kingston, over like maybe the last 5-10 years before it closed, you'd have, I bet you have some grapes in that place. Wasn't population, you know, there was population guys there that weren't really population guys, but not because they checked in. There's a reason, you know, maybe they have an incompatible that somebody who's in the unit wrote them as an incompatible, so those people can't go there. You never know what the reason is. Or a lot of guys, they get stabbed in the unit, and then it's either you go to KP or you go to like Kent or Renouse, and a lot of guys want to see their family and stuff, so they stayed in KP. Hold on, what are these? 60 or 70, yeah, it's a different time. Yeah, oh yeah. I was in the transitional unit, so parole violation unit in Kingston, man, and the vibe in that place is dark. It's got a dark energy to it there. That is a fact. So you can feel the vibes of the death in the air. Like, it's a dark building, man. How do you deal with disrespect on the outs? Like, how would I deal with it right now? Trying to change my life? Is that the question? Like, are you saying like if I was at work or if I was like outside and somebody was... Honestly, man, I don't give a shit. If you don't come at me physically, don't matter. Don't matter. Because you have to understand that 90% of the people out there are civilians. And those civilians don't know who you are. You understand? They think they're tough. They think they want the smoke, but most guys that have been involved in life, it's a different kind of fight, right? You don't even have to be exceptionally tough. But most civilians never been in a fight in their goddamn life. So if you even know how to throw a punch properly, you're going to do some severe damage to most people. So at the end of the day, unless you feel threatened or somebody is entering your personal space and you have no option walk away, man. Terry, I get that. I'm trying my best to get over my weed addiction. Good luck. But, if you see a regular guy driving down the street, road rage incident, he's got his 2 kids in the car, he gets out, you son of a bitch, you get out and you fight that guy, and you really fire off on him, watch how bad he's hurt, and watch how much trouble you get in, because you're bullying. Just blinders on, baby. It's like being in an integrated penitentiary. You can't run around smashing all the hounds, because they're going to put 3 hounds in place of the hound you smashed out of there, and you're going to get sent to max with street charges or whatever. You understand? Blinders on. Who gives a shit? Right? If you feel violated to the point where somebody is threatening you physically, then hey, all bets are off. Sometimes there's punks on the come up trying to make a name. Yeah, I get it. And I never lived that lifestyle, right? Like, where I grew up, right? Like, there's people that are tough here, no doubt. But unless you go out, like, looking for that trouble, you're not really going to find it, Unless you're involved in shit, you're probably not going to find it. And I know shit happens. You can get in a fight at the grocery store, on the street, anywhere. But just avoid it. Avoid it. Ain't worth it. Gurman, what up? So, yeah, make a name is a big influence. So many guys follow and will do anything to be popular. Clout is the new drug, my friend. Clout is the new drug. I know about Canadian gangs, but I don't particularly speak on specific gangs on my channel. I have friends that are in gangs, and it's not really my story to tell. So, sometimes I'll talk about them vaguely on my channel and things that I've seen, but I'm out in the country, my friend. But, probably an hour and a half from the dot. Most of my friends on gangs, they're Hearst. That's all I know. I'm native and cops always try messing with me. It's hard to deal with sometimes. I get that. I understand. My girlfriend is from Thunder Bay and has a lot of friends that are native and has seen a lot of that firsthand. And, unless you're not paying attention, how can you not see it? So just do your best, Intricate, my friend. Do your best. Just avoid it, I know a bit about BC gangs, yeah. What's going on out there in Surrey is crazy, man. It's crazy out there. So, and I know it's not just Surrey, and it's like New Westminster, and there's some other cities out there. My mom's neighbor is starting drama threats and whatnot, banging on her window, scaring her. What do you suggest? It's hard to walk away because it's my mom, but I want to go better in life. I don't know, man. That's a hard one. Because I know me personally, if it was my mom and somebody was making my mom feel threatened, I would glad that I'm not in that circumstance, because I'd most likely be going to jail. But I'm not telling you to do that. I think that's a bad idea. I just know I'm dumb. Man. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Because I don't think any advice I could give you would be good advice. Bro, BC gangs are not JS in a specific part. BS, they're all through. I know that. I know that there's more gangs. I'm just saying, in that area, what's going on is crazy. clearly there's in every city you're gonna have gangs, so uh, across the country, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a city, because you have gangs that actually thrive in more rural areas. So, but yeah, I know that, bro. Anyways, I'm out of here, guys. I've been on here for a long time, so I appreciate you. I've done time in many prisons, but majority, if you're talking about federal, I did 7 years Joyceville, and I did time in Fembrook as well, like 3 years. Love y'all at the new Matt Clark. You guys have a good week. I'll be on again before that. They're not in Toronto, but they're in Ontario. Love y'all.